Riptiders. Frank Santoli here, the exhaust can of Riptide Rollers, coming back at you for another Riptide Rollers automotive radio show on WBNJ 91.9 on your radio dial, as my brother Sal would always say. Not that anybody uses a dial anymore, but he'll always encourage the family to gather around the radio like it was those fireside chats with like FDR. So in any case, I want to just again recognize our executive producer, Bill Clanton Jr. Always appreciate the help. I'm on the road today, so Brother Sal is not with me. I'm flying solo. I'm here with my good buddy Rich Downey, and he is the owner-operator of Far From Dead Motorsports in Tuckerton. And if you don't know where Tuckerton is and you're listening out there in Radio Land, it's down in the southern end of Ocean County. Nice town, nice vibe, nice feel down here. I really love it. I take the cruise down from Barnegat, and I got the Jeepster out today. Tops down, it's November, it's like 80 degrees, I can't believe it. And I'm like looking at all these cute towns along the way, and I'm like, what a good section of New Jersey this is in Ocean County. Really cool. So in any case, Rich, how long have you guys been here? When did you start?
The Far From Dead's here for about 2 years. So 2 years now. And I had the property for about 3 years. And what you brought up about the town really is why I really want to be here.
Really? Okay, that's interesting that kind of lured you here a little bit.
You know, I know the area since the 90s. Coming down here to romp in the forge, with my trucks that I would build, or play out in the woods and the pines with the cars that we had back from from Staten Island. But been coming down here since the mid 90s. Been living down here for about 11 or so years. I have a daughter that's around going 11 on 12, so that kind of makes sense. I got her the heck out of Staten Island,
A future hot rodder.
Oh yeah, that or a heartbreaker, both. But like you said about the town, when you pull into Tuckerton here, we have like those historic style like lamps, street lights.
Yes.
And the herringbone brick sidewalks. Mm-hmm. And just how the township still gives a darn about the signage and how everybody presents on the from the street view, and I love that. I know it could be a bit of a problematic issue for some businesses getting going and stuff like that, but aesthetically, the townsfolk love how it looks, love how it presents, and then there's folks who aren't from town here. I get family and friends from out of town, or customers from out of town. I just had a client from Connecticut come down, and he brought his wife and his kids with him and his dog,
Mm-hmm.
And they get into town, you're like, oh my God, this is cute.
Yeah, right.
And there's a hot rod shop and a mom and pop hardware store, Trish Hardware out front. And then we got a mom and pop gym right here on the property. Of course there's a retro fitness next door, but we got Clamtown Fitness here. That's all family owned by townsfolk, and it just...
The town seems to have gone a long way, the leadership, in preserving the historical past. A lot of the buildings are preserved, very, very nice. They got the Tuckerton Seaport here, which is amazing.
Love it.
And then they're running ferry service out of the seaport, at least in the summertime.
To LBI.
To Beach Haven or wherever they're going.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, I wish we had that up in Barnegat, but... ferry service would land you, I don't know where, in Surf City, Barnegat Light, wherever, pick a spot north, but it wouldn't be as nearly as populated as,
No.
down in Beach Haven.
No.
So they've got a really nice route that people are taking, and it's been successful.
Now we did have an influx with the development down here, especially during the whole COVID craziness, Unfortunately, I don't think our infrastructure kept up with the development, but,
Mm-hmm.
maybe if...
They're working on it.
Maybe if the proper elected officials get in place down here, they can catch up with the infrastructure to match the tax revenue that they're getting from the new populace. Mm-hmm. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, I mean, and they're definitely every time I come down here, I see more stores. So they're trying to keep up with the increase in population.
Yeah, there's a demand. As far as like electric and utilities and stuff like that. But that's a nationwide thing. But they.
And you got better restaurants down here all the time.
Let me tell you, thank God.
Yeah.
I love eating. And that's the one thing I miss about New York City. But now in town here, like we got Papa D's. You still got Bruno's Meat Market in Manahawkin.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Gourmet Deli in between here. Like I guess that'd be Eagleswood area.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking some really good food.
Aren't there some waterfront restaurants too?
Oh,
if you're taking
We
I don't know, Dock Road or whatever
on
road.
Green Street, my man Dan.
Okay.
Danny, how you doing, buddy? Me and Dan were out on the Tappan Zee Bridge as operating engineers on tugboats.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually where I got paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
He's the owner now of what is that? The Dockside Cafe.
Okay.
Right on Green Street.
Right on Green
And now you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner. Now he's got an outside tiki bar. That's the marina there, so you can pull up on your boat, drive up. I love it. It's like how you got, and then Stewart's. You got Stewart's you can take your boat to, or your motorcycle, or your car, and they still got the classic car meets now on Wednesday nights.
And how nice is that? They got water on both sides of the road there. It's a really cool place to bring your hot rod.
It's awesome.
Have something to eat, whatever, chill.
And we always welcome walk-ins and drive-ins down here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our clients, some of our clients' friends, when they're going on cruises down Route 9, they just they leave it there. They make this a stop on their journey.
Okay.
So when they leave their houses, I get a text a lot of times.
Hello.
Thank you, Stacey. There you go. Food delivery from the missus. I'm in an interview right now.
Yeah, it's cool. We play it loose. So.
Okay.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
This is live action.
So it's a great time. My wife just stopped by with some good home cooking up in there.
What do you want?
Probably a chicken pot pie.
The dog wants the food.
Always.
She's
Always.
like, doggy
There's
cat.
an endless pittance dog.
And we got a
Weighs
shop
more than
dog
I
here.
do.
The shop dog here is Milo. That's who that's who my wife's talking to.
What a cute dog. The dog is
He's
so
a
well
love
behaved.
bug. He is.
Yeah.
He is great.
He always greets me.
But he's just always hungry. Always hungry.
Always greets me with a lick and a smile.
I'll share Milo. I'll share.
Oh, look, he's
Mm-hmm.
talking.
So in any case, part of the vibe with the businesses down here is you guys. Because Far From Dead Motorsports is what it is with the name of Far From Dead. A lot of people thought that maybe hot rodding had seen its better days, but you guys are making sure that you keep the faith.
Right.
And it goes good with the old-time vibe of the neighborhood that there's still hot rodders out there, old cars, and, newer cars too, all the time.
Well, that's I love that about it, And when I started this business, that's what I wanted. I wanted not to be like a Camaro shop, a Mustang shop, a Mopar shop. I wanted a hot rod shop. Carburetors, EFI, turbos, nitrous, superchargers. It's all cool. I love it all.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate it all. Like people, I have Fords myself, but everyone's like, oh, what do you think is the best? They all suck. They're all going to break your heart. They're all going to break the bank. It's
But it is
you
what
gotta
it is,
do
part of the sport.
whatever you have a passion for.
Mhm. And it is like a sport. Hot rodding is like it's like the sport that I was never involved in any other sports, but I at least was a hot rodder. And I just loved taking a hot rod out in the street, going to the track, just enjoying hot rodding in general. So what you guys are doing again is like keeping the faith, and what you're doing also is exemplary of what I see at the car shows where they're integrating new and old together now. So you got these guys that are coming down with their 1935 Fords or whatever, but then you also have guys that are coming with their Camaros and their Chargers, and so it's great. It's like the younger population has embraced, hot rodding. They're just doing it with newer cars, and it's great because you wondered years ago, how was this going to carry forward, or was it going to die out? So
you got guys like this. There's a 71 Duster over there. That's a 440 swap.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing a Holly Sniper EFI. The guy wants to cruise it. I know it's got a shortened rear and a cage and this and that. The guy may put it on a trailer and get down in Maryland at the track, or ACO, if God willing they open again. But that's a setup that the gentleman can get in, turn the key. It's going to start. It'll cruise. You're not sitting there playing with a carburetor. Not that we're against that, but
carburetors still have a place.
Oh, absolutely. We have a client here that he runs a 400 plus cubic inch small block Chevy. Ain't gonna say his numbers.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 kits of nitrous running through a badass carburetor, and that's a bad man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bad man.
Yeah, I was just watching I think it was a video posted on Facebook, and talking about these, Holly 750 double pumpers and whatever the guys are doing to them, and even building them even bigger than that. And I'm like, okay, carburetors are still a thing,
Oh, we get people that come here. Like tomorrow night, we're having a dyno night. I know of 2 carburetor cars they're going to be putting down over 900 to the wheel.
Okay. There you go.
You know,
I mean, that's
and
more
not
than
for nothing,
sufficient.
you know, when we're out there playing, and you know, there's a weather change or something, and the rest of the guys are out there with their laptops and whatnot.
Right.
You know, these dudes are out there 2 to 2 with their screwdrivers.
I tell you what,
They know
it's
what to do.
crazy times because you got a large segment of guys that are involved in the industry, and there's like, what's a carburetor? You know, they have no idea about rebuilding carburetors, replacing them, doing anything like that. So you got the old technology meeting new technology. The older guys, they have no idea of half the stuff that you're talking about when you get into tuning, turbocharging, supercharging. You know, they know what they know, and the new guys know what they know. It's like, and it comes together, and I see these different guys looking under the hoods of the different cars, and they're like, what?
Well,
It's interesting.
That's why with a shop like this, you know, you can't just have like a one-man show.
Mhm.
I have to have a team.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and not everybody knows what everybody else knows. Everyone has an exposure to their specialty. You know, like I got my my man Dave over there who's wrenching in the background. You know, he's got a wealth of knowledge with EFI, diesels, turbos, hydraulics, machinery. You know, so that's an integral part of this operation. You know, our other guy Brandon, he's one of those. He's the local lunatic that runs around in that K-swap MR2 with a big turbo in the back.
Okay.
You know, and like we were at a car show recently, and there was like some, you know, not this on the stock C8s, but there was like a couple stock C8s there, these mid-engine like V8s that were 100% stock, and they're looking at his car like it's slow. It's like, let me tell you, old man, that turbo Honda stuffed in that little mid-engine Toyota is a handful. You know, and to me, that's the essential part of hot rod. When you see a guy pulling up in something that you may smirk at it, be like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then it just
Right.
blows your doors off. Or it stays right with you, and you gotta be like, oh my God. You know, I'm in this monster V8,
Right.
and I got this 4-banger with a turbo ripping on side of me. You know, like, even if you don't appreciate the sound or the look of those 4-bangers, you know, you gotta watch for them. You know, and there's a, you know, of course, yeah, you know, I you know, growing up, you know, I was a 90s kid, 80s, 90s kid, so when the 4-cylinders first started getting popular, they were just fart can cars to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then once the tuning got involved,
Mm-hmm.
and the turbos got involved,
Right.
and the fuel systems
Turbo
got more
was huge
advanced,
back then. Oh, yeah.
you know, now we got fuel,
Right.
computers, turbos, and
Which work
sleeve
well on
engines.
low compression engines.
Oh, it's like, you know,
So,
game on.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a laptop, some knowledge, hey,
she said, when's lunch?
are you hooked on something? Is that what you were complaining about? Come here. There you go.
I think this is a good time. We're going to take a little break for sponsors, whatever, and we'll be right back. We're back. And we're talking to Rich Downing, owner and operator of Far From Dead Motorsports in Tuckerton, New Jersey. And we've been talking about the industry in general and Tuckerton in general. But now I'm going to ask Rich, what is it that you, let's talk about what you have in the shop. And what's going on right now and what's being towed in, which I understand was a pretty wild ride.
Yeah, there's we'll start with what's coming in, because that's, I know I mentioned before, I'm a bit of a Ford fan myself. There is a 1965 Galaxy 500 that's already got a Cobra Jet under the hood, set up as a drag car by the previous owner. The new owner wants to do basically a street rod. So we're going to do a street-friendly suspension that can handle on the highway, an RPG-built Gen 3 Coyote, Gen 6 Whipple, a 10R80 transmission built by Pure Drivetrain. We're using a Ford Performance harness and trans controller that will tune with HP tuners. Air motor brushless fuel pump and the proper filters and 10 AN feeds and 8 AN returns and AC heat. And that is going to be one trick, fast, classic muscle car to really give people a problem out there. You know, in the world of Hellcats and ZL1s and GT500s, this guy's going to have a Galaxy 500 that's going to give him a little bit of a challenge.
So, like on the flip side of the scale, if a guy's got a older classic and he needs something done, I'll say mechanically, and he doesn't know where to go. I mean, you guys would take care
Oh, absolutely. Like,
issues with that.
now if this gentleman wanted that Cobra Jet
Mhm.
to get rebuilt
Yeah.
and scream like she can, we would love that.
Mhm.
I love that. We'll pull that engine, tear it down, see what's going on, get him going again. Whether he wants to go carbureted again or EFI or a sniper EFI or however he wants to go, yeah, we're down for that. We have a dyno right here on premises, so I have a Dyno Jet 224X. So we can get him dialed in, carburetor, EFI, however, and back on the road. Our transmissions, I've been sending the transmissions out just because of the time it takes, and I got a good relationship with some good trans shops that are building up to 2,000 horsepower capable transmissions for what we're doing.
That's equally as good for the people to know that if they came down here and they dealt with Far From Dead Motorsports, that's another whole segment of the industry that you guys have good contacts with.
The training world has gotten so complex.
Yeah.
Like
how many speeds are we talking about with some of the automatics?
A 10 or 80.
Right.
That's a 10-speed
automatic
behind a 1,000-wheel.
Yeah.
Coyote. With a Whipple on it. It's that's some wild stuff to handle, and it's a lot of shifting, a lot of heat, a lot of. The tuning part of it is a huge part too. We have a tuner that joined our staff here. Kyle Handy is a wonderful guy. He's been doing all our tuning, and whether it's LS, LT1, Coyote, I'm throwing his first Godzilla at him soon with an OBR ECU. We can go into that next. That's my car I've owned since the late '90s, early 2000s. It's a '99 notchback Ford Mustang LX.
Nice.
We just built a 7.3 Godzilla full 45 cube. The only thing stock on it is the crank and the block.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, and the heads, but the heads are ported by Livinoid, poured them out. But that's it.
And that bottom end should hold up nice.
Should be fine. Somebody just went 6.5 at World Cup.
Oh my goodness.
With a stock block and stock crank.
Wow. 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 That's incredible. Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm totally open about the power that I'm going to make with this thing, and I'll be showing all my dyno numbers because it's sponsoring my business, and when it comes down to racing, I can make 1,400 to the wheels on my dyno, and I can tell the world about that. Like, to me, who really cares? Because when I show up at a race, we're all making that kind of money. When I show up to No Prep next season, we're all making that kind of, I shouldn't say money. We're all spending that kind of money and making that kind of power if you're in that event. So it's how you're putting it down.
And
you're like,
great, I just broke even.
It's all how you're driving it and putting it down and tuning it, and the way you're shifting and how you're launching it.
I've talked to guys in the industry will tell me all the time that it's not always about the horsepower.
No, we're all making power now.
Right.
Whether you got a blower, a nitrous, a turbo, making the power isn't the mystery these days. It's driving it, putting the power to the ground. When and where in your launch, and in your driving that, it makes sense.
So the specialty services that you provide, do you do any welding in the shop?
We do welding. If it's alloys and stuff like that, I have one of my tenants in the back is Jose. A lot of the Garvey boats use him. What's Jose's proper
Jersey
business?
Shore Weld Tech.
Jersey Shore Weld Tech. He's a local. Jose, he's been doing like medical grade welding his whole life, and he started a side business, and he's in the back here. And,
so can he fix wheels too?
He's not doing wheels.
So I know there's a bunch of guys out there that you could call it.
The wheel stuff is.
Because when you mention alloy, I start thinking,
I don't know if
welding
he'll do
alloy.
wheels. I really don't know. I haven't asked him to do wheels, but but a lot of like the Garvey boats, it's all that stuff is really steel and whatnot, and they have all kinds of lightweight materials they're trying to use, and he does a lot of work with the Garvey boat racing, custom turbo.
And they do that right off out of Tuckerton too.
Oh yeah, right here from the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
They were doing it up in Barnegat, and then I don't know, some issue came up about insurance and whatever, and before you know it, they weren't doing Garvey races out of Barnegat anymore, which I regret. I hope they bring it back there.
That stinks. And I understand now that I'm a business owner. Oh man, you want to talk about being either you're handcuffed by the state, the feds, or an insurance company. So a lot of times, if you come across a business that's not fulfilling what you're asking them to do, before you get mad at them, try to understand that maybe
There's a lot of rules
they're
and
being
regulations.
handcuffed.
Right.
It's unfortunate.
So you have a pretty good relationship with the township?
Yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool. I don't do anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm respectful with the noise, especially with the hours. We keep a real clean shop.
You do, and for what it's worth, you're tucked away a little bit off of 9, and it doesn't look like you're impacting any residential neighborhood back here. Or
No,
anything, so.
all of us, we live in this area. We're not doing anything where we want to destroy the area. We love it. We respect where we live. And I think that's a huge part of it too. When you have a mom and pop shop that's owned and operated by someone that lives and loves the area. We're not I don't want to say any name, but we're not a chain store.
Yeah.
Where the employees have no
right
attachment or heart to the business and the operation.
I had a friend who had a deli years ago, and he used to say, "Hey, I take care of the little league and everything else, and whatever you do with the community when you have a store like that." And he would talk in regard to, let's say, Wawa or something. And he said, "It's a corporation." He said, "Not really part of your town." He says, "The people that work here sometimes don't even live in the town or whatever." So he says, "I got my feet in it. I'm rooted here." So he always drew that analogy, and I thought to myself, "Wow, yeah, I never heard somebody talk in that regard." I said, "That's very interesting." Since then, you talk about the local Wawas, and they've sponsored local events, and they've gotten more rooted with the communities. But back then, it was very different.
And of it's crazy is out of any of the chain businesses around here, Wawa is probably the most grounded. I'd say in their communities.
Yep. They are. They have been
and
for a long time.
that's always, I think, been a policy of that owner. He treats his employees real well too. I've been told.
That's very, very good.
Corporate wise, I was always told that was decent pay and decent benefits too for those guys. Which is
well, when you talk about a business that's grounded, Far From Dead Motorsports is truly far from dead. I come down here often, and you guys always have something else going on here. It's always very, very interesting. The new and the old. It's just incredible, some of the cars I see. And I still see this 56 Chevy sitting back there.
She just came back.
Working on.
She just came back for plugs and wires.
That's great.
It's she's a Frankenstein build that we didn't build, but we got her up and running. And she's owned by a local business owner, Elliot's Barbershop. Shout out to Elliot.
Okay.
He's got a nice car collection, and he always brings it here for all his maintenance and his repairs. And
excellent.
And it's funny too. I know Elliot from my childhood. He owned a local barbershop in my hometown in Tottenville, Staten Island, growing up.
Oh, wow.
And
followed each other down here.
I didn't even know he was down here. I was driving into work one day, and it
You're like, no way.
I'm like, I know an Elliot the barber, where I'm from. And
what a coincidence.
It was him.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I have met a lot of people, actually, from that area that have, moved down and migrated to, this area of Ocean County and even further north in Ocean County. And it's great. It's like one big happy family.
I don't mind the influx, just as long as you respect the area and you want to keep the area as it is.
Yeah.
I moved down here because I've been coming down here, and I love the woods. I love the fishing. I love the hot rodding. I love the off-roading. Which leads us to another thing that's getting fixed in here is a side-by-side. We're working on a Can-Am. Me and my staff, we all own Razors.
Yeah.
Turbo Razors, but we love the Can-Ams as well. Actually, that's what my wife rides, is a Can-Am.
Uh-huh.
And
I see these things sitting out here and in the garage, outside the garage. I'm like, okay, now we're into this. I didn't know that.
These are fun. These are fun machines, especially for a hot rodder. You can get into certain parts of trails and speeds and fun that an old
well, you're fitting into areas vehicles couldn't go.
And not for nothing, we grew up beating on K5 Blazers.
Yeah.
Now if you got a K5 Blazer, don't be beating on that thing in the woods.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a $20,000 truck.
Well, this is taking it to a new level because before this was everybody was into the Samurais because you could get into the woods easy.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Ben, shout out to Ben. Me and my buddy Ben did one back in the day. Oh man, there's a picture of us in Roush Creek where we sank that thing so deep, we got the top open because we thought we were gonna have to bail out the roof, And but those things were cool.
I owned one. I owned an '87. It was so cool. Right.
He had a built-up one with a roll cage in it, and he used to throw that thing on a trailer, and he'd get rowdy in the woods with that thing.
Yeah. They were tough. They were tough engines. They were very tough vehicles. Well, I guess we've been probably out of time for quite a while, but Bill will do his level best to take care of that. Again, I was down here talking to Rich Downing, owner and operator of Far From Dead Motorsports, and they truly are far from dead down here. So if you have a special interest car, if you have a hot rod, you're wondering where can you take this thing to get fixed. Even an older car, I'm sure they could take care of even something stock that has an issue that you need taken care of. Just call them. In fact, I guess you can give some the folks your contact information.
Sure. The shop number is 609-205-0713. It's a shop sell because we race, we ride, we're always on the road. We're active guys. We're active in the community too. So
Far From Dead's on Facebook as
well.
We're
on Facebook, YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, Far From Dead Motorsports.
Email
is ffdmotorsports@gmail.com. And, please reach out. And we have dyno nights once a month, and spectators are welcome. We love families coming down. Bring the kids. They get to watch 1,000 horsepower street cars and drag cars. Get on the dyno, get rowdy, get loud. We love it. We love it.
Step back. Well, thank you very, very much for joining us at
Frank.
Riptide Rollers. I really do appreciate it. And as far as my brother Sal goes, who usually ends the show with some horrible joke, I'm sorry, Sal. I just can't do that to the listeners. They get a break this time. So, okay, thanks for listening, folks. Until next time, this is Frank Santola, the exhaust cam from Riptide Rollers, signing off and saying thank you until next time. And thank you, Rich Downing.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Bye now.